party.
Hmm.
So, because once we have the Brexit deal or the no deal,
Hmm.
then, it might be that Zoom decides that we also have a Brexit deal between Germany and the UK, that there won't be any connections anymore.
Okay, maybe.
Yes, now I'm
Maybe.
glad that the pisshead Juncker went to see Trump.
Yeah, I read this morning an article that he just really was quite serious in the negotiation process and kind of made him clear what to expect and what not to expect.
I'm hoping this was before lunch.
Lunch with President Trump or our lunch?
No, it was before lunch, because isn't Juncker notorious for being completely drunk after lunch?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, apparently Juncker
from Luxembourg.
Yeah, he has a reputation. He's got a
Really.
Yeah. Nobody can organize meetings with him afterwards because he loves to imbibe.
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit easier to cope with President Trump if you're drunk.
Yeah, although
maybe it's easier.
He's a teetotaler, Trump, so he doesn't drink. So I don't think he'd be offering you anything.
Yeah, okay. But the host is Juncker is the host, isn't he? It's in Brussels, or where is it?
No, he's in the States.
He's in the States, okay. So it's nothing to drink there.
Yeah, so it would be all very, very Anyway, how the devil are you, Stefan? For God's sake. Huh? Looking very well, looking very summery. Are you planning on going on holiday or
next Saturday we're leaving to De Haan, which is a small village at the coast of Belgium. De Haan.
On the coast of okay, I thought for a minute I understood Doha, and I'm thinking, he's off.
Doha? No, it's too far. De Haan. It's just a 2.5 hour ride from Düsseldorf, so it's perfect. Just put the kids in the car and go to the coast. And we've already thought about it, because I don't know the Belgian and the Dutch coast. I've never been there, because when you live down in Freiburg, in the south of Germany, then you go to Switzerland or France, go to, let's say, the Atlantic coast of France, but not Belgium and Netherlands. So now living in Düsseldorf, of course, I have to visit the Belgian, is it right? Belgian? Yeah. Belgian and Dutch coast. And it's only 2.5 hour drive, so perfect.
So more the Flemish side rather than the French side.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because we're talking Dutch. So the Flemish.
Yeah.
They'll be more organized then.
Hopefully.
Compared to
but it's
Wallonia.
But all the people that live here are totally excited about the Dutch and the Belgian coast, so it's quite nice. They always tell me. So I'm
cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic, to put it this way. Yeah, nicely said.
Yeah, because I was thinking you don't look excited, but
because it's to go to Belgium to the coast is not the most exciting thing to do.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't sort of bring to mind that where should we go on holiday by the beach? Yeah. Let's go to the Belgian coast.
Yeah.
Yay!
But with kids and of course, we will do another short vacation in October, and we will go to Mallorca. So this is it's not exciting as well, but I'm looking forward to that. And Belgium is just like, okay, let's see what it will be like. I'm not expecting much, but I think I will. So I think it will be a positive surprise. Fingers crossed. Yeah. And the weather is lovely. Of course, we have a lovely summer, and the weather forecast is 25 up to 30 degrees, no rain, and which is not 100. You're never 100% sure when you go to Belgium and the Dutch coast, because sometimes you have 2 hours rain even in August. So yeah,
2 hours.
but the
2
weather.
hours a day.
No, not 2 hours. 2 weeks, or 2 days, or 10 days, or whatever.
I was saying 2
Even
hours
in
of rain is
August.
fine. I
And
can.
2 hours of rain is okay. No, 10 days or 2 weeks.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. It's like Cornwall, right? Like in England.
Yeah.
In August. So have you been having a heat wave too? Let's talk the weather. Come on, it's a good
A heat wave. We have one. Yeah, we have 37 degrees today. We will have, not yet, but we will have 37 degrees.
You're expecting 37.
37, quite hot.
Blimey, that's super hot.
Yeah.
I think today is going to be the hottest day for us. Yeah. So
Okay.
all our grass is beautifully parched. All the
lovely.
countryside is no longer green. It's all about this yellow, this golden yellow.
Yeah.
But it's really hard. Yeah. I mean, I've been struggling also with my running because of the heat. The other day I went for my run in the evening, but it was still, oh my God. But in the, I think it was just, you don't realize how much it takes, how much energy it takes out of you. But I went to bed, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. I was so tired. But yeah, oh wow, okay, that's a lot. So anyway, so how's life? So how's work? What's been happening? Because you've been, well, we took a break because I was away, and then, but you were very busy, and then you've been chopping and changing, and so I'm curious to know, you're still there?
With Dekling?
Yes.
Yes, with the kids and wife.
Well, I kind of gathered that.
Yeah. No,
because
the kids are the same.
Because your WhatsApp profile has still got your kids.
yeah, it's just to pretend.
Your kids are always going to be your kids. The wife is a movable feast.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. No, the wife is the same. It's still Susanne. It's still Fritz and Tony. And we changed kindergarten. Tony, no, Fritz changed the kindergarten. And so it's his first week in the new kindergarten because it's the same town, the same small village, but he switched to the kindergarten of Tony now. So we only have one place to pick them up and drop them. Yeah, he's struggling with the new situation right now, and he's not in a very good mood. So we always have a really intense discussion every morning. And we're very lucky because Tony is quite confused as well. I don't know why. Maybe it's just something happening in his head. It's just like sometimes when they have a jump in development is not the right word, but you know what I mean. There's something happening in his brain, or he's understanding whatever. And he's quite confused, getting really angry really easily. Yesterday I just had 2 kids crying and shouting and just lying on the floor in front of my car for let's say 20 minutes. That felt like 2 hours. And they don't want to go to kindergarten. And then I had the Fritz to jump into the car again and go to kindergarten, but then he said, I won't enter the car until Tony finishes crying. So I tried to make the other one calm to get the other one into the car and words. So it's quite exhausting. And we had the same this morning. That's why I was a little bit too stressed to manage Slack and WhatsApp. It was just an awful way to start the day if you had 2 kids just yelling and screaming and shouting. But yeah, so right now they're in the kindergarten.
At the moment, they're there for the moment. You haven't had the phone call yet to come and pick your children up, please.
No, when they are there, then everything is fine. They just they are not. Especially Fritz is then he's able to just when he's at home he expresses his feelings. When he's in the kindergarten, then he's just able to act quite conform. Can you say that? No.
Well, he conforms. Well, I mean, yeah, he kind of adapts, and he just sort of falls in with everyone. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? So at home, so do you think? Well, so he puts up this little facade then.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, no, well, it's his, and then he's more natural when he's at home. It's just like, okay, the complete release.
And the problem is in the new kindergarten, they're like in the other kindergarten. In the end, they're very young children in the group right now, and older children that are have their last 2 weeks before they go to school after the holiday. And so there are 5 to 6 older children, most of them boys. And of course, now this new kid is coming 1 year younger, and they are on the jump to school, very confident, overconfident, quite, very loud, very, I don't know, they sometimes when they go to school after the holiday, all the kindergarten people tell us they're kind of in a weird situation because they're overconfident, they're really excited, they know something really big is happening, and all the small kids are just rubbish and not interesting, and they just bully him, send him away, blah blah blah. So not a very nice way to start in the new garden. So we're quite a little bit annoyed by the start, but so we will just because we are going on vacation in a week, and I think we're taking him out of the kindergarten and let him stay at home in the next week, and then go off to holiday. And then after the holiday, all the big kids will be gone. New kids from the other groups come into the to the group, to Fritz, and so there will be a new mixture, new group dynamic, and I think a better start for him after the holidays.
So the holidays finish. When do they go back to? When does school start for you guys?
I think in 3 or 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
Right. Okay. End of August.
Yeah. End of August, beginning of September. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So so next week you're planning to leave him in kindergarten, or are you taking him out?
No, we're taking him out.
Right.
Because normally his old kindergarten has shut down, or not shut down, has closed.
Oh, it's closed
for holiday.
Summer.
Yeah. And the new kindergarten just offered us the opportunity to
so transition.
Because normally the plan would have been to give him to the kindergarten after the holiday, but they said because they're connected, the two kindergartens, and run by the same company or the same institution, they said, okay, put him in our kindergarten, so you have the opportunity to go to work, and he's able to get used to the kindergarten before he will start formally after the holiday. And we thought it would be a good idea, but in the end, it turned out that the idea wasn't that good because of the freaks, the older freaks.
Yeah, but are they causing him a lot? I mean, does he come home complaining about them, or?
Yeah, they just hit him, and
they
told him to go. Yes, once, not hit him. They don't beat him up, but they just hit him once. Told him to go away and said not very nice words to him and so on.
Oh, really?
It's a harsh ghetto world here in the village of Angermund. I know.
Wow. And but what do kindergarten teachers? I mean, do they manage that situation? Do they? Well, hold on.
Yes, but I was surprised because he just after the told him the words and hit him, he just not ran, but into the kindergarten lady and told her what happened, and then she managed the situation that it was okay. But I thought they would be a little bit more not engaged, but a little bit more
proactive.
Proactive, and put him into just try to separate him from the older guys and make him play with kids in his age, and establish a kind of a playing context where he can get into contact with the kids in his age.
Well, yeah, also because you also want to nip you. I mean, I don't know whether we're talking bullying as in how we understand bullying, but even at that age, if they start bullying a younger child, that should be stopped immediately. I mean, even at that level of, hold on, there's no need, there's no bullying here, and they should sort of, but I mean, whether they didn't see it, well, obviously they're not going to see it, but it is also getting the older kids to, hey, the whole idea is to share, not just to sort of, but okay, so that's unfortunate. So so in the morning, fair enough, he doesn't want to go. But then, so Tony then is probably sympathizing with his brother, right?
Yeah, kind of, and he's confused with something. I don't know. He's the kindergarten ladies in his group also tell us yesterday he was just not fighting, but pinching. Is it pinching when you just pinching other kids and kicking? And he normally doesn't do that. So I think, and then the other moment he was trying to cuddle and hug some, so he's a little bit maniac. Manic depressive is a German. We have a German expression. It's a mixture of over. You know what I mean? Manisch depressiv. What is it in German? There is a manisch depressive. Let's have a look. Manic depressive.
Well, manic depressive.
No, just kidding.
No, I know, but I was just wondering whether
bipolar.
Surely, see, poor child. But if it's just a one-off, right? Is it a one-off? I mean, okay, if it's a pattern, then you start thinking. But then they're going through phases, right? Where they are.
Yeah, I think that's what. Of course, that's what you're told. Tell yourself every time it's a phase. It's a phase. It will be over soon, somehow. Yeah, but never mind.
When they get to prison, and then they'll be fine.
When they get to prison, yeah. When they just killed someone in their manic depressive phase. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. That sort of lasted about a few years, but that was okay. Yeah, so challenging, isn't it? So I went because I was in the States in June. I was with my sister and her kids, and you so much stuff that you see what how children deal with stuff, and as they then get older, and then all the different stages. Because I told you my eldest nephew has got ADHD, and but he's being treated for that, so he's very so they then we're talking California, right? So they're also aware of and also he's got a thyroid issue, so so if he doesn't take his medication every morning, because so he zones out a lot, so you'll be talking to him, and so of course you immediately thinking he's also 13, so you start thinking, okay, typical teenager, right? They're zoning out, but literally they just have zoned out, they have to bring them back in, or otherwise ADHD, he talks like a express train. So you're like, oh my God, I can't keep up. And they're saying because their thought patterns are going so fast, but their words can't come out fast enough. Okay. So it's like really, like, whoa. And then there's Alessandro, who's, teacher's pet. Everyone loves him. He is like, fine. But he's also got his, little issues. But one of the things I found, one of his friends, he was going to a party, which was at, the usual, right? You go to a little restaurant. So the mother was going with the kids, and then they were going off to do something else. I don't know. Anyway, the boy is called Lucas. Anyway, he likes wearing dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he wears dresses. He's comfortable wearing dresses. So because there's this party and he'd invited only a few people, few friends, because those are the friends who don't judge him. Now, Alessandro is 10 years old, so this boy is 10. And so I said, oh, okay. And parents, they're letting him, because he just feels more comfortable in a dress. So he goes to school in a dress. So he goes, yeah. And obviously there's bullying issues with other boys and stuff. And so, of course, the school is dealing with that. But he really loves Alessandro. He loves the other key friends who, because ask Alessandro and he says, well, if he's comfortable like that, if he's happy like that, so so what he does. So I'm thinking, well, good on you, Ali. You just don't, you're not judging him or anything. Anyway, so I was like, oh, okay. So we went to drop him off. So we were going to this place, and then we were going to go separately and drop. And then I see Lucas, seriously, dressed in a dress, and he looks like a girl because he's all very, very petite, and he's got a younger sister, and the mom was there, and I was thinking, so the parents are perfectly, because and I was thinking, wow, okay, mothers normally, but for fathers, now I was thinking that would be like really, so, but no, but then, and so he was all dressed, and they were like, hi, Lucas, and and his friends, but it was just a very small group, and because he knows they're the ones who support him no matter what. And for me, I was thinking, I don't know many places even here that would, here the problem we have at school is that everyone has a uniform, right? So if a boy says, I'd like to be in a girl's uniform,
well,
I don't know, how would that be in Germany? It's like, or how would you be like if your child, Tony, for instance, decide one day, I'm more comfortable in a dress.
Yeah.
But
it's a hard decision. Yeah.
Kudos to the parents. I was just, and then they were stressed and they were going, oh, you look really good. And and so he just prefers doing girl stuff. But but he's not effeminate. He's not, but he's got boy friends. He's not all girly with lots of girls. He's comfortable and but I just thought my nephew, I said, good on you, because it's so easy for, if children are not strong enough, they'll go with the group, right? Oh my God, no. And then we all stay with that and go, yeah, he's crap, he's rubbish. But, Alessandro said, oh, well, no, if that's what he wants to do, then that's fine. But I found it, when I saw it, I just thought, okay, interesting. Because if one of my nephews decided, for whatever reason, I know my parents for starters would have real issues. Yeah, but then even the school, I just thought, wow, kudos to the school. Because they're just, accepting it, and then they have to teach the kids, this is, it doesn't make him a bad person. He's just more comfortable dressing in dresses.
Yeah, cool.
So there you go.
I saw kind of a comedy program on Netflix. I don't know if you know it. It's called, she's called Nanette. Do you know her? You have to watch it. Nanette, Nanette. And she's a woman from Australia, and she's gay, and has a comedy program of her. It's like of a coming out comedy program, and it tells her story about her youth in Tasmania, being gay and kind of a, what is it called? It's called dyke, very masculine gay, but dyke is a. But dyke is
pejorative term, lesbian.
Yeah,
right? But very macho, masculine, the masculine version of.
Yeah, and she said the interesting sentence, and that's a connection to your story. She said, let the kids until they're 10 or 11, let them be what they want to be, and don't push them into this direction or this direction, and or a girl or a boy, even not about with colors and toys and whatever. Just let them be what they want to be, and don't put them into the typical roles. You have Netflix, have you?
Yeah, but I've not seen Nanette. I don't know whether.
Yeah, you have to watch it, because it's funny, but the most interesting thing is not that it's hilarious, because it's more like it's a mixture. In the beginning, it's a classic comedy, and then it turns in the end into a very personal, very emotional. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to put it into words, because I haven't seen anything like this. It's not comedy. It's more like a really emotional speech about a tolerance and avoiding to put people that are different from society into
boxes, right?
Into boxes and stuff. So it's really a fascinating program. You have to watch it. It's really cool.
So, but is it set as a drama, or is it?
No, it's just a stand-up comedy. It's 1.5.
Comedian.
Yeah, it's stand-up comedian. I think it's 1 hour, lasting 1 hour. Just she on a stage. That's it. On a stage in front of people. So classic stand-up comedy. But and she is a Australian comedian and have been a comedian for years. But and it's, I think when I got it right, it's the it was her last show before she quits her profession as a stand-up comedian, and it's because the story of this 1 hour is that she has been a comedian because she made a joke about she turned her life in a joke, and
she turned her life into a joke.
Yeah, and coped, tried to cope with her own story of her life and the coming out and the struggling by telling jokes, and make a joke out of her life, and then in the end of the 1 hour, she just says, okay, I can't do that anymore. I have to quit. I have to tell my story, but not as a joke, but as my story. And then it just turns into a really emotional and kind of very emotional and very intense speech to the audience. It's more like a speech than a comedy program. But it's a kind of a roller coaster in this 1 hour. It's comedy, and then it's more like a speech, and then it's kind of a comedy, and it turns more like a one-way speech, and just not a hate speech, but a very intense speech complaining about the weird situation the society that put her in. Let's put it this way.
Well, I mean, the intolerance and the prejudices that we have, and especially growing up in Australia and Tasmania, it's such a macho. So many areas. But
and in Tasmania, she told in her program that in Tasmania until 1997, being gay was a criminal act.
So
1997, homosexuality. This is quite late, because we had it until the mid-70s, I think.
Yeah, similar here. We had late 60s. So homosexuality, the act came in. Yeah, because last year there was a whole bunch of programs celebrating the fact that it became legal. But I wouldn't be surprised, because it's such a macho idea. It was yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Of course, now this whole discussion on transgender, you know, with what's going on, you know, having transgender actors, and there's also another one on Netflix which is Queer Eye.
I haven't seen it, but I saw the picture, but I haven't seen
it. Yeah, one guy with this, you know, a bit like Conchita Wurst, you know, with her the beard and the. But yeah, it's fascinating because again, when I was in California, Debbie and I went to San Francisco. We were going to go visit the Asian Art Museum, which is an incredible museum they have, and I wanted to do that. So anyway, we drove up, and we arrived, and there was a lot of traffic driving into San Francisco, and and she was trying to park where the museum is, which is in the Civic Center. We ended up the weekend of Pride, San Francisco Pride. Wow. And of course, the Pride movement started in San Francisco. So we parked, and Debbie was to ask the guy at the parking, it was like, so it's Pride. She went, oh my goodness. So on the art Asian, and it was smack in the Civic Center where they cordoned it all off. And then they had the whole big sign, signage across the museum, Pride. And so we went, oh, wow. I mean, fantastic. So she said, oh, yeah, I come to San Francisco on the one weekend that, you know, it's Pride. So everything's cordoned off. Then you had police officers, you know, all around. And because that's one. Anyway, so it's really fascinating, you know. Okay, so you've got all the, you know, you've got your mixtures, right? Transgender, you've got all the lesbians, you've got all the gays, but then a whole bunch of nude guys, nudists.
Nudists. Okay.
I thought I was on a German beach for a minute, because I always associate nudists as the German. You know, there was a period when a lot of Germans loved, you know, there are nudist camps, right?
Yeah.
But there were always fat guys. I never understand why the nudes always have to be fat guys, not fit guys. You know, it's like they're always weird. Stomachs big and whatever. Anyway, it's really weird. So I'm walking along, and then suddenly there's this completely naked, maybe just shoes on, walking around. And I said to Deb, so what's this got to do with Pride? What's this? Anyway, then a whole bunch of them. And there's one guy, and you're trying so hard not to stare, right? I mean, okay, you look at the back, and then there were some, you know, engaging conversations with different people. And you can see how they are just keeping eye contact, because they don't dare drop their eyes, right? Come on. It is so obvious you're going to drop your eyes to go see, right? And there was one guy who had the lovely Pride rainbow colors around his penis. In a little bowl. He had like these little bowl, little ribbon. And I said to Deb, I mean, I'm sorry, but how can you not want to look? Because, you know, he's gone and he decorated that one piece. And it was, then I just thought, wow. Then we realized, it was after a few days, because we thought, did we see any children? And we didn't. And I think that's why it was all cordoned off. Because, of course, I think because you had also back search and everything. And it was because, of course, you know, they're not going to have kids coming in and seeing a whole bunch of guys all walking around naked. Interestingly, it was only men. I didn't see any women walking around naked. All men. Obviously, loose. And they're all the hippie stuff, you know, San Francisco in the hippie area, all coming along, all with not looking fit, you know, where they've all got loose skin, and you're like, seriously, I would cover that up. But okay, walk around, and you know, it's like just weird. But hey, that was my eye opener, because Pride is Pride. I get that, but that one was like, okay, what's this got to do with? I suppose this is like, you know, well, we're free to do whatever we want, walk around, and you know, and there were the police officers also taking photos with these guys, and you know, just to show the San Francisco, you know, whatever, you know, police department, they're also, you know, they're in with the gay guys, and we're all hip, and you're just like, okay, whatever rocks your boat. So I know, it's fascinating. You guys got the Pride movement, right? Where are your focal points in Germany for that?
Yeah, we have the CSD, Christopher Street Day, and we have. Sorry.
Which city is?
It's the biggest city is Cologne, not the biggest city. The city where the movement or this can you say scene? The scene is the biggest is Cologne and Berlin, of course. But Cologne is the biggest one. The CSD in Cologne is the biggest. And CSD is like the Pride Parade or Mardi Gras or whatever. It's this one day in the year where they're celebrating diversity and homosexuality and stuff.
So, but it's also Cologne. So I suppose is also Cologne the more tolerant of cities, right?
Yeah, Cologne. It's weird because Cologne is very Catholic, but at the same time very tolerant. It's a weird mixture. It's Cologne. Cologne is very special in Germany. It's a very special city, but so it's deeply Catholic and deeply tolerant at the same time. And they know how to party. And I don't know why, but the scene has been growing and growing through the years, and it's the biggest one in Germany. It's a cool city. So all the gay guys, especially the gay men, it's the Mecca, if you can put it this way. So Cologne is cool. Yeah.
Cool okay, that's what. Yeah, because San Francisco is what it's the most tolerant.
Yeah.
And that's where they all congregate. So that's where also. But the thing I found with San Francisco is the homelessness was shocking. So many homeless people, drugging. Okay. And my sister was saying, the trouble is, it's been Silicon Valley. It's just pushed the prices up. And which places, right? Yeah. And they have a huge problem. I mean, we were walking through, and there's some parts. There's one area they call what was it? Now I can't remember. See, Alzheimer's. I keep getting these. It's to do with butchers. Why was it the butchers? Anyway, whatever. And we're walking, and Debbie said, "Oh, maybe we should have had closed shoes." I said, "What do you mean closed shoes?" She said, "Well, no, just in case there are needles on the ground." I'm like, "What the hell? Where are you taking me?" And this is smack next to the Civic Center. I'm like, "Where are we walking? I mean, where are you taking me?" She said, "Well, just be careful." But, they're all there. And then, a lot of them probably have mental health issues and stuff. And but there's real problem. And of course, San Francisco is the most tolerant of cities. So people can go there, whereas a lot of other cities, you just throw them out. But I found also here, Brighton is also the big gay center outside London. And we have a lot of homeless people in Brighton because they're more tolerant. They don't throw people out. So when I went for my conference, I couldn't believe everywhere I turned, there were homeless people all over. So what are you staring at?
No, I'm staring at the screen of my laptop behind the iPhone.
Yeah, checking your emails.
No. Just one. But I'm multitasking. I can do two things at once. It's my feminine side.
It's your feminine side. Although apparently we're not very good at that, women.
But you pretend
like
to.
What men do. Yeah. Pretend to. Anyway, let's talk work. How's work? How things?
Actually, normally, like you always tell me, I don't have very interesting things to tell. But actually,
did I say?
No, just kidding. Okay. Between the lines. No.
Worse.
No, I just actually it was I had quite interesting and refreshing international weeks because like we are part of the AMO network, and Egbert introduced the plan to the AMO board to establish kind of a change/transformation practice in AMO. So just invite all invite people from the different local agencies of the AMO network that are working on transformation projects and change projects, invite them to Düsseldorf to have an exchange on current trends of change management and change communication, and establish kind of a transformation practice where you have a regular communication between transformation experts in the network, the exchange on experience on different clients, establish kind of a AMO-wide service offering regarding change management and change communication. And we invited people from the AMO network, and some of them came. There was no. It was a really interesting day. We had a one-day workshop with 3 guys from the UK, from Maitland. I don't know if you know the agency Maitland. Angus Maitland is kind of the PR god in the UK. But they are more focused on financial communication. But they were interested in getting to know the transformation issues and topics, because when you are, for example, communicating on a merger from a financial communication side of things or perspective, then it's interesting to hear what the post-merger process will look like. And so merger is more financial communication, post-merger integration is the transformation part. So they were quite interested in the transformation issues. And we had one guy from Sweden, one Dutch guy, one woman from France, from Havas, big agency that bought 51% of our shares, the Havas company. From Havas, France, then one lady from Switzerland, and one British guy working for the Russian agency in the AMO network, which is called EM. It's a agency that supports Russian corporates or companies on financial communication as well, and corporate communication. But I think the office is in Moscow, I think. So quite interesting, a really nice group of people, eight people in total, and the guys from our Egbert and a colleague of mine and myself. And it was quite an interesting day. We exchanged on best practices. We presented some projects of our business, and the Swedish guy presented a best practice. One lady from the UK, which is a colleague of our company, and we sent them to the UK for 2 or 3 years. Oh no, it's sent them. Sounds like we're getting her back. We don't know that yet. She decided that she wants to work in the UK, and then we established the contact to Maitland, and then she switched to Maitland. Maybe she will come back, but we're not sure.
So she used to work for you guys, and now
she's
with that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So ex-colleague.
Yeah, and she presented a project of her, and then we presented what we think would be a reasonable and appropriate service offering for the transformation practice. And we discussed the service offering, and they gave us feedback and so on. So a quite interesting day. And then the chief marketing officer of the AMO network came 2 weeks ago, and we discussed the outcome of the workshop and just identified the proper new business and marketing initiatives that we could conduct AMO-wide. And so it was quite interesting, and a lot of opportunities for me, of course, to present stuff and to speak English, and to not only in this normally the situation where I had to speak English were mostly it was a presentation, give a presentation, and then maybe a small dialogue afterwards, but mainly it was presenting something. But the last two meetings, the workshop and the long workshop with the chief marketing officer, was more about, it was presenting as well, but it was a lot about just discussing, developing concepts together, exchanging on best practice. So it was more, a lot more improvising and trying to establish, to develop thoughts and conceptual ideas, and talking at the same time. You know what I mean? Not having the time to slowly develop the presentation in English and then present and practice a lot in advance. It was more like developing conceptual ideas together, which is of course more demanding. Talking about speaking English, but it gave me the opportunity to practice.
Not just practice your speaking; it's communicating.
Yeah, it's yeah. So that was interesting.
And how did you feel? How was it? I mean, did you enjoy the interaction in English and exchanging ideas, responding to their ideas, and then how did they respond to yours? I mean, did they understand? Could they follow what you were communicating?
Yeah, the workshop with the people here, the bigger workshop, I wasn't really satisfied with my performance afterwards. The presentation was okay, but it wasn't. I was more nervous than I thought I would be, because there were a lot of things to think about. Because when I gave the presentation about the change project and the service offering, I had the biggest part in the workshop. I had to present the service offering, which was quite a long presentation. And the problem was the levels of the people, their level of experience was so different. And there was, of course, Egbert in the room, which has his perspective, and I had to address him and his perspective. And then, on the other hand, was the guys from UK and from the financial communication, and it was their first steps into transformation issues, their first the first day to talk about these issues. So the maturity, can you say that the maturity, the level of expertise and experience was very different. And I always do. I had the not really easy task. While I presented, I had the problem: how do I express this in the way that everybody understands me, not making it too easy, because Egbert is in the room, to put it really just to make it easy to understand, because his level of he wants that we express our expertise and talk in the DAA style, blah blah blah, but then on the same hand side, just don't lose the other people in the room, because it's too over complicated and too sophisticated. And of course, then doing it in the English language, and trying to refer to different things we had in the discussions before. In the 2 hours before, I had to relate to different aspects and discussions we had in the 2 hours before. So that was quite it would have been even complicated in German. So what was really hard to do it in English. That's why I was more nervous than I normally would normally be. So that's why I wasn't so satisfied. And on the other hand side, in the discussions with the with the chief marketing officer, I was totally fine with the situation, and I was felt like quite confident. It was almost fun.
So the conversation. So when I make a note, so the conversations you had with the marketing side was more sort of in a meeting, sort of exchanging ideas. So more
and it was only four people. It was Egbert, a colleague of mine, myself, and the chief marketing officer. It was more like a, not informal, but it was more like a face-to-face ongoing discussion.
Yeah,
not ongoing. You know what I mean?
With four people who have a similar level in terms of understanding and experience.
Yeah.
So you're not having to manage different levels of understanding and maybe different experiences.
Yeah, I don't know, and sometimes it's just, sometimes you feel nervous and sometimes you don't, and you sometimes you can explain it because of the situation, and sometimes it's just your daily.
No, but I'm trying to separate the two, because the workshop, like you said to me, it would have been also challenging in German. So for me, from just listening to you telling me, well, I had to manage, you don't want to oversimplify.
Yeah.
And you've got your audience, part of your audience have got a high level. Then you are also catering for you're catering for different types of audience, and you're having to think on your feet and managing that, and also then bringing in information that you've had. So bringing that in. Now that's a huge challenge for anyone, no matter where the language. So I think if you break it down, it's nothing to do with the language. It's to do with you are managing the communication, how to put it at a point that would engage everyone, not be over someone's head, and not patronize anyone that's thinking, well, what's he doing? And that's a tough call to do for anyone. So I can totally appreciate that would be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And really, I didn't like that. But looking in, it's got nothing to do with your language. It's to do with, that is a skill set that is tough. That is, how do you communicate to a varied audience, and then bringing in stuff. And obviously then you can see the difference where then you're engaging in a smaller group with people who are fairly similar, and you actually, so why do you think you enjoyed that one? That second
the last one? I don't know. I just, from the beginning, from the first 2 minutes, I just felt it will be okay today. I don't know why. Sometimes it just it was more like it was not the situation now you have to stand up and present the agency, and it's and I think one part of it, I don't know why, I think the workshop started one evening before. In the evening they arrived and we had a social gathering, get together kind of thing, and there was a colleague of mine that facilitated the workshop at the next day, a younger colleague, she's part of my team, and she's very good and very good in English, and she studied for 2 years in I think in the Netherlands, but everything was in English. So she's quite fluently it's not native, of course, but it's really, she's really into the English, and a lot of vocabulary and a lot of smart expressions and blah blah blah. So I felt just like a million miles away from that level. And then two guys from England came in, and it was more like really kind of a native setting, and that just frightened me in the beginning. So it was kind of a start on the wrong foot, you know what I mean? It was so that set for me that set the tone of the evening, and the start in the workshop as well. And I don't know why, but I haven't had this problem at the next meeting.
You didn't have the same?
No, I don't know why. Just because the meeting was 2 weeks later, so I just forgot the the not very perfect workshop.
The meeting, okay, when you say not very perfect workshop, is that in your mind, or did you get feedback going, Stefan wasn't so great, we didn't quite understand what he meant?
No, the feedback was okay. There was no bad feedback in any way, but it was my impression.
You're coming from you, because you were then you were comparing yourself to those.
Yeah, yes, of course I did, and I had a discussion with Egbert, and he didn't tell me it was not okay, but he told me just kind of, let's say, he told me, of course we all have to work in our English, and we have to be more confident. And I think between the lines, it was not a negative feedback, but it was the feedback, we all have to work in our English, and you as well. Not as negative feedback, your presentation wasn't that good, but of course we have to get used to presenting in an international environment, and we have to be more confident. But there was a general feedback to, where are you? Here. To himself as well, to me, to a colleague of mine, not the colleague that facilitated the workshop, because she was quite perfect. But there was another colleague, and he was really nervous as well.
I love this, quite perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so interesting. Yeah. I think we'll take this up next time, because I'm fascinated, because I've changed quite a lot of myself, and I'm very interested in the difference between speaking and communicating, because even if you're a native speaker, you can still be a lousy communicator.
Yeah,
you could have a very great way of using words, but it's got nothing to do with that language. It's to do with how you're communicating. But it's interesting that international environment that Egbert is referring to, but out of that international environment, how many of them are native speakers or proficient speakers of English? Because I would have thought you don't have, it. Yeah, and is that the pressure that you put yourselves under?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to decide, is that so important?
Yeah.
Because if ultimately what you're communicating is still getting the job done, this whole, and we have to also sometimes not strive for perfection. We have to go, but interesting how, of course, that I want to know more about your marketing meeting, why that was different. Okay, it was 2 weeks later, but your audience was different, and suddenly you're not comparing yourself against anybody.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's a lot of psychology there.
But we have another appointment next week on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yeah, you put in for the 1st of August.
Yeah, perfect. So
you've scheduled it in my online calendar.
Yeah, perfect. So because I have to run to Egbert, I have an appointment at 10. 1 minute ago. We are sharp on time as Germans.
Oh God, you better go.
Yeah.
Blame me, the mad English.
I will. So see you next